What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. Today in this video, I'm gonna be starting up a new build. So if you guys already know from my channel, if you guys are familiar with it, I have a couple vehicles. I've got this Mini Cooper behind me. It's an 09 John Cooper Works, and it's my little toy. It's my car that I'm building up to be nothing but super grippy, super fast, and an awesome lap time breaker. On the other end, I have this car over here, and that's my Honda Accord. It's my daily, it's a 2009 as well. It's very grippy, it's bigger, but it's not quite the exact same thing as this. Now, something that both of these things are front wheel drive. That's something that's good, but it's also bad in other senses. So if you want something really grippy, something reliable, something small and compact, front wheel drive is a great way to go. Now, if you want to have more fun, more often than not, something rear wheel drive is what you'd have to go for. And that's exactly what I picked up. Now, the car that I picked up is rear wheel drive. It's a little bit older, Japanese, stick, lady driven, one owner, completely stock, and awesome. Runs great. There's one little mechanical problem with it, but it's not a big deal at all. It's a 1998, but there's not that much rust on it. So the car has been on the road, it's been driving for almost 20 years, but it's in really sick condition. Now, the model that I picked up is something that's very wanted by car enthusiasts. So there's one version that's called the Zenki model, and that's what's called stock or North American style. It's what came on a lot of vehicles from the manufacturer. Now, the preferred style that you want is what's called the Kooky style. It's a different design, completely different front end, and it's very JDM. Without further ado, guys, this is my new car. This is my new to me 1998 Nissan 240 SX. It comes with a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder motor, comes with a 5-speed manual transmission. Is completely unmolested, stock, and hasn't had anything done to it. It's mechanically sound, there's a tiny bit of rust on it, but for a car that's near 20 years old, I can't complain. So as you can see right here, Nissan 240 SX, and I got the SE model, which is the high-end model. It's the top of the line one, comes with a K24, or what do they call it, a KA24. It's a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder, very similar to my Honda motor, but not quite the same thing. Now, this configuration is front engine, rear wheel drive, whereas my Honda Accord was front engine, front wheel drive. The difference between this and that are quite night and day. Both cars that I have behind me are very similar, but at the same time, the biggest difference between the two is age and the drivetrain. They both have the same amount of displacement in their engines, they're both 4 cylinders, they're both stick. But because the 240, the Nissan that I have right here that I just picked up, because it's rear wheel drive, it drives completely differently than the Accord. So if I want, I can step the back end out on this thing, have it drift, and because it also has a limited slip differential, I'll be able to get both of the wheels out, I'll be able to control it, and I can do some awesome drifts. With the Accord, because it's front wheel drive with an open differential, I can't exactly do that. Now, that kind of leads me into what I'm gonna be getting at next. This Nissan that I have, since it's rear wheel drive, I'm gonna be making a drift build. Now, I'm not gonna be needing 1, 2, and 3 cars. I don't need the Mini, the Accord, and the 240. Now, the Accord is awesome. It's been great for me. It's been a super reliable car. I've had it for a little bit over 4 years, but I think it's finally time to say goodbye. Now, I'm gonna get into the details later about what I'm doing with the Accord, but don't worry, relax. I'm not gonna be parting it out. I'm not gonna be selling it. Stay tuned. You guys are gonna be updated as to what's going on with the Accord. But as it stands, the 240 is here, and it's here to stay. Now, this thing definitely needs a wash, but I'm gonna bring you guys inside the car to show you the interior. So for a car that was built in 1998, that's close to 20 years old, the interior is not that bad at all. So I mean, these seats, they're very actually nice and supportive on the side bolsters. The car sits very low, even though it's a stock vehicle with stock ride height. Now, the one thing that I noticed, like drastically, that's very different from the Accord, is that when you get inside here, you like basically sit very low and get in the car. It's much more tight of a fit than the Accord, and for that reason, I love it already. Now, I do plan on lowering it. I do plan on giving it more power. The interior of the car, I don't know what I plan on doing with it, but it's a 4-seater right now. Do I want to keep it stock? Probably not. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of mods to this thing, and that's kind of normal. Now, when I'm outside the car, the biggest thing that I notice that's different between this and my Accord is that if you come up to the car, right here, I'm reaching over the vehicle like perfectly flat out. For the Accord, it's a very high feel, and I can reach at the stock ride height of the car past the center part of the roof. With the Accord, I can't exactly do that. In the Accord, if I'm going to say wash the car, look at how far I can get without touching the vehicle. If I go over more, I'm touching it, and that's not even quite halfway. See the antenna? The antenna's at half, and I've probably still got another couple more inches to get to it. And this thing is already lowered on coilovers. So the stock ride height is even worse than that. Now, that is very different from the 240. So when you get in here, this is how I like regularly stand. You sit down and you're like getting in the car. You're not really like sitting on the seat, you're getting in it. It's a very different feeling, and it feels so nice to get in here. Now, there's not a lot of room, I guess, that you'd say on the inside, and it's nice because the car is a little bit smaller than the Accord. There's less interior space, but you feel more connected to it. Even just driving it regularly, the car feels very nice on the road. Now, when you get in the car, the steering wheel, because it's a smaller fit than, say, the Accord wheel, it's a very good feeling on your hands. There's also no buttons on here or anything else to distract you other than the cruise control buttons, which are basically found on the back part of the steering wheel. Now I'm gonna grab the key, stick it in the ignition, and turn it on. Now, if you get inside the car, you'll notice on the left that there's a little check engine light. Now, that's not a big deal. I already know what the problem is. It's an emissions related issue, and I already have the part ordered up, and I'll be fixing that whenever it comes in. You can see I've got 115,000 kilometers on the Speedo. This thing is basically new. Very stock, nothing really to it, but I guarantee you guys, once I'm done with this car, it's gonna be completely different. Now, don't get me wrong, this car is going to be getting a lot of love, but this is going to be my daily for the next little bit. The Accord, as I said, I'm getting rid of. The Mini, I'm still building up, and that's gonna be my fast track car. This is still gonna be my little toy that's gonna be super grippy and a ton of fun. I'm gonna be putting super fat, super grippy tires on this thing so that I get a lot of traction. Now, on the other hand, I'm not gonna be going with that route for the 240. It has a limited slip diff in its rear wheel drive, and I want this thing to slide out and have a ton of fun. So for that reason, I'm not gonna be putting super grippy, super wide tires on this thing. Now, the tires that are mounted on the car right now are a set of winter tires that are 225/55 R16s. Now, since it's not really winter anymore, I'm gonna be taking these off and I'm gonna be putting on the tires that came with the vehicle. So when I bought it, I got these winters, and I also got a set of all-season Michelin tires. So the tires that I have on the left, as I said, are winters, and the ones that I have on the right are the all-season tires that I'm gonna be putting on the car. Now, if you guys know anything about tires and the UTQG, it's the tire gradient. So that number will depict on how grippy and how fast the tire will wear off. So the lower the number, typically the grippier it is. However, that low number also means that the car is gonna be eating through tires like it's nothing. These tires that I have right here on the right are an 800 compound tire. So it means that these tires are good for about 160,000 kilometers. Now, that's not sticky, it's not track oriented at all. So that means that this really hard tire is gonna be able to slide out without an issue. Just for reference, the Hankook Ventus RS3 tires that I have mounted on the Accord are 200 compound tires, and these things cannot slide, even if you want to. The only time you're gonna get these things to break traction is by either hitting a patch of water or locking up all the wheels. Because these tires are very soft, they're very grippy. So these 200 compound tires are rated for about 40,000 kilometers. That's if you don't beat on them. So these tires are much stickier, but that means that they're not gonna be breaking traction. So the 240 is gonna be my daily, but I do wanna modify this thing. I'm not sure what as to what I wanna do, but I do wanna do a lot to it. Now, for the Accord, don't freak out, guys. I have something in mind, and you guys are very much going to like this thing. I guarantee it. If you guys know what I know now about the Accord, you guys should be very happy that I got this, and you guys will see why. If you guys have any questions about the video, or even if you guys have, say, potential mods for the 240 that you guys want to see, let me know in the comment section below, and I'd be more than happy to help if you have questions as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.